We'll call this meeting to order. The election of temporary chairman. Would someone like to?
I will go ahead and make a motion for the temporary chairwoman. I'm going to nominate Cheryl Mitchell.
And I will second that.
All those in favor, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Alette?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Officially calling this meeting to order at 3:05. Please join me in standing at pledging allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is a nomination for an election of chairperson.
I'd like to nominate Dave Zimmer as the chairperson.
And do I hear a second for that?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Alette?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you. I guess we already did number 5 then, the election of the vice chair. We need to do that.
Yes. Do
Mrs. Clear?
you want me to go ahead? Okay.
Please.
I would like to nominate Cheryl Mitchell for vice chair.
And I'll second that.
And let's vote on that. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Alette?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you. The other appointments, Executive Director Matthew Waldinger. And do we need to vote on those as well?
Yes. I'll make or else if you're making the motion, I can always second.
I'll make a motion to accept Matthew Waldinger as Executive Director.
And I'll second.
Thank you. And how do we vote, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Alette?
Yes.
Okay, next we have Cheryl Williams as the Government Authority Secretary. We have a motion for that.
I'll second that.
Thank you. And Mrs. Clear, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Alette?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we have Melanie Page as the Government Authority Treasurer. I nominate her. And do I hear a second motion?
I will second.
Thank you. And how do we vote? Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Alette?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next, we'd like to nominate McDonald, Alleg, Jones, and Britton, Mark Shar, Esquire, as our principal contact and solicitor for the governmental authority. I nominate him. May I have a second motion?
I'll second.
Thank you. And Mrs. Clear, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Alette?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next on the agenda, we have the designation of regular meetings of the Millcreek Township General Authority, and that has been posted, I believe. The next meeting will be on the 21st, and they're regularly scheduled monthly meetings. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
If you would, Cheryl, I
Yes.
think you need to make a motion to set the regular meetings.
Okay, sorry.
And again, there, I believe the second Tuesday of each month at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And as you indicated, the dates are reflected and will be attached to the meeting minutes.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
And I'll second.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. Next meeting is February 11th. I stand correct. And how do you vote, Mrs. Clare?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Alette?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you very much. And we'll make, can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. And how do you vote, Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Alette?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
And so for those who are here, the general authority regular meeting will start at 3:15. So we have a few minutes.
Can you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, are there any public comments on any of the agenda items? Hearing none, we'll move on. I make a motion to approve the minutes of December 10th, 2024 from our regular meeting.
I will second that.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Clear, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Next, the approval of bills. Mrs. Page, is there anything in particular we should be aware of that we're, before we make a motion to approve the bills?
No, you will see that there were 6 checks paid for almost a total of $27,000 for things like legal services, electric bill, alt air services, demolition, and our annual public officials liability insurance. But nothing to note, really.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll make a motion to approve the bills. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And let's take a vote. Mrs. Clear?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you. Next, communications. I know Mr. Waldinger is out of the office today, and I believe Solicitor Shaw will speak to any items that need to be addressed.
Yes, although first on the agenda is Treasurer Communications. Melanie, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
I didn't have anything else, no.
In terms of Executive Director Communications, it's been obviously a pretty quiet month with the holidays and so forth. I will note that it is our understanding that Empire will begin their demolition either this week or early next of the Bel Air property, so that's moving forward. And we do hope to have an RFP issued here shortly with respect to the Grasshopper property. And that's really the only update from our perspective.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other solicitor communications or updates?
The only thing I would announce, we need an executive committee or executive session meeting will be held, I think it's tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Correct.
Discuss real estate matters.
Okay, thank you. Any consultant communications? Mr. Peters?
Thank you. Chuck Peters from Altair. Amy sends her regrets. She had a conflict today. There's a number of things that we've been working on behalf of the authority in this past month, and I'd like to just run through those. One of our actions is, of course, facilitation of the action plan and working with Matt on the plans for the real estate. And so we've continued that work. That's sort of a general overarching theme. But we've also spent some time working with Matt and Supervisor Clear on the opportunities for structuring partnerships within the district with businesses that exist in the district. And so we continued that work this past month. Additionally, related to the real estate itself, there's been some massing studies that our design team has been working on, which for those that may not know what that is, it's some, we'll call it test fitting of what kind of buildings would fit on the site. So we will be sharing that in the future. The next category of our efforts, we start to sound like a bit of a broken record when it comes to Revitalization Assistance Capital Program, or RACP, or RCAP, depending on which part of the state you're from and how you refer to it. But Tom from our team has been working very closely with the Office of the Budget, the consultant from the state, and Matt on progress with the RACP grant. We did late breaking news, we did receive a contract today from the Commonwealth. I saw that come through email, which when Matt returns and Tom returns, they'll be working on that. Last thing that and this is a continuation of a discussion that we had last month, we've been performing some analysis on different incentive programs that might make sense for the district. And without getting into a significant amount of detail, there's really analysis on two different levels of financial incentives as we look to develop the site. And that will not only, it'll affect the authority, but be something that the supervisors may need to take action on. And so we'll continue to update the group on that. And those are things like LRTAs and TIFs and different incentives that might make sense for the township and the authority to consider offering. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, any citizens to be heard today? If so, please approach the podium.
Dennis McAnder. A couple of meetings ago, it was mentioned that the church property and it was being, how's that coming, the realigning property lines, reassessment and stuff to make the property for the Bel Air. I may be stepping on toes asking the question, maybe you're talking about it tomorrow, but just wondering how that's proceeding. And overall, there was like surveying and some other stuff for all the properties overall. Is it proceeding or?
The church property, kind of property line alignment is still under discussion. From a survey perspective, trying to think, I can't recall if that was underway or not.
Because there was talk of it being offered as several properties, other, there was all, I wasn't sure if it has proceeded or not, being, for future marketing as one property, several properties,
Oh, you mean in terms of whether to combine all the properties as
Right.
one or leave them subdivided as is? That there hasn't been any further discussion on that at this point. I think as the ideas and concepts move forward, that'll be part of that discussion and decision.
just kind of on a record, and sometimes people, things take a while, they kind of forget, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, no, it's like, well, that was discussed, months ago, and I might be probably one of the few people that remember, but
And we appreciate that.
thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis.
Any other citizens to be heard? Okay. If not,
Ms. Chairman?
yes.
I just wanted to make note, I was made aware today that some similar projects, redevelopment as to what Millcreek is doing is also being done in Hermitage, PA. They announced yesterday some of the plans. This has been ongoing for many years, as we knew this would, on 8th Street, but they're the private-public partnership where the city purchased the Shenango Valley Mall. And now they are revealing plans. They're at the point now where they're revealing plans on how that will be transformed and how many jobs that's going to be bringing to the Hermitage area and the amount of investment that will be put in. It's a $100 million project.
Wow.
And it's one of those success stories that we don't always hear in Erie, PA, but it's happening all over.
Yeah.
All over.
It's
And
interesting that it's mirroring.
it is. Yeah, we're a few years behind them.
Yeah.
But it's so great to see, and it's just an hour and a half down the road.
That's close. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
Going forward.
Thank you.
Any other questions, discussions, comments? Yes.
Please.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
please. And just give us your name and.
Carol Feifel, Feifele. So I just decided to come because, you always wonder, what are you guys doing? And are you also involved with the possible Zemzem thing? Is that part of Mill Creek, or is that because that's Park and Rec, is that different?
Technically, the general authority is, we have a large scope, but the township and the township and the Park and Rec Department are working on doing their due diligence
Okay.
on that, so.
Is all of that information covered like at a meeting like this, or is it another meeting?
Another meeting.
Okay.
Those would be at our supervisor board meetings
Okay.
on the second Tuesday at 9:30 every month, and then the fourth Tuesday at 4:30 every month.
Okay. Just
But
started
yeah.
learning about our local government.
Yes, but if if you want to give me your name, maybe after the meeting, we can,
You can let me know more, or let me.
yeah.
I
This
will
is
do that.
technically under Jim Bach's jurisdiction. This is, Park and Rec is what Jim Bach is
Okay,
oversees.
I will do that
but
later.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your interest. Anyone else? Okay. May I hear a motion?
Yeah,
to
I'll
adjourn?
make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you very much.
I'll second.
Thank you. Mrs. Claire, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Zimmer?
Yes.
Mr. Olet?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.